Good weekend, everybody. This is meteorologist Mark Molnar. I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Hurricane Eastern. Yes, we're dealing with Ida. This is special Ida coverage here. It's just not looking really good. I know you're not having a very good weekend here in especially southeastern Louisiana. And this is a heartbreaking scenario that a lot of us meteorologists have to cover. And it's one of those things that you do realize there's going to be not only major lives impacted, significant amount of lives impacted, but a significant loss of life as well, especially if people don't heed the hurricane warnings and surge warnings and evacuate. And that is my recommendation. If you can evacuate, especially in and around the New Orleans area and along to the coastline areas and everything in between, just evacuate. This is something you do not want to mess around with. And I'm going to go through step by step as to why exactly things are going to be so bad with this system. And not only that, with Katrina, you were on the west side of the storm, and it was a weakening storm as it moved in. It was still very powerful and very strong. This time, you'll be on the eastern side of the storm, and with models inching ever so slightly to the east over time, I'm very concerned, especially about the city of New Orleans and surrounding areas. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Taking a look at the latest on Hurricane Ida to become a major hurricane on its way to, and picking up a little bit forward speed here. That forward speed will start to slow during the day on Sunday. However, over the night, Saturday night, there's going to be rapid intensification going on as there will be no vertical wind shear. Also, we have the ability for this storm to really feed off some very, very warm water temperatures, 90 degrees up to 91, 92 in some areas, especially in that loop current. And for that matter, we'll be going up probably close to 145 to 150 miles per hour. Now, sometimes these storms can overshoot their intensity scales, and I would not be surprised if this storm has the potential to overshoot its intensity here by a bit. But we should be anticipating at least a very solid large-scale Category 4 destructive hurricane making landfall in southeastern Louisiana. And as you can see, I have nudged my overall track a little bit further to the east, dangerously close to the city of New Orleans. So this is a very much of concern, and we still will have a hurricane Monday, early Monday morning, inland in parts of Louisiana going up towards the Mississippi border with wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour possible. So this is definitely a major impact storm, and I'm going to go over all the particulars on how this could seriously impact New Orleans. And here's the satellite of the Gulf of Mexico. A really well-defined eye really starting to form in Ida. This is that rapid intensification mode as it moves over those 90-degree water temperatures as it can continue all the way up to landfall in southeastern Louisiana. You can see the outflow. Look at the outflow, especially to the northwest and to the northeast and on the east side of the system. Even on the southern side now, we're getting that venting going on. This is where you start to see a tropical system or hurricane become very healthy, and that high pressure overhead is helping this system really blossom. That upper level low moving to the southwest away from the system, allowing this system to have virtually no vertical wind shear. And take a look at the water vapor loop here. I wanted to show you this because there was the potential that some dry air could get entrained into Ida, but at this point that upper level low has slipped to the southwest. You can see the brighter colors, the whiter colors and the darker green colors, that is where a lot of water vapor is. But you see on the yellowish colors, that's where the dry air is. And look at that. There is basically no dry air to be funneled into this system. The high pressure really dominating the eastern and central Gulf of Mexico. So at this point, Ida is well protected from dry air. Now that will be different once Ida makes landfall. It will start to ingest some of the continental air, the drier air. But at this point, Ida has got a full path to the coastline. And here we have a nice little tool at the NAM 3 kilometer that I like to use. The infrared cloud top simulated here based on how high the cloud tops are, temperature. Look at this. This is really humbling at this point. You see as the system does move towards the shoreline, it resembles that of a buzzsaw. Very much like past storms like Laura last year, Katrina, 2005. This is a disturbing trend at this point. And even the NAM is a bit further east than it was So those of you in the New Orleans area, I really want you to stay tuned to this. And if you can evacuate in and around those areas, please do, because this thing is a monster. All right, so here we have the GFS handling Ida pretty decent here. Bringing it up, landfalling, it is a little bit slightly further east with this run, which is a little bit on the disturbing side. This is what I've been bracing you all for. And it brings the eastern eye wall into parts of New Orleans. This is not a scenario we've been looking forward to, and as you see it, then it moves up inland here and causes a lot of freshwater flooding well inland. I don't think this is going to be much of a problem, though, for the Northeast. So for those of my viewers in the Northeast, I think this is going to remain especially south of Pennsylvania. I don't think that's going to head up well into Pennsylvania. So there you have it. And here is the Canadian. Here we have this is the one I'm really been interested in. It's been really handling the system pretty well, I think, and brings it out of the Gulf, Central Gulf, makes landfall, of course, during the later part of tomorrow. And it is further east as well, bringing the eastern eye wall dangerously into parts of New Orleans here. So models are really zoning in on a solution here, and I do notice that at this point, it seems like Ida is wobbling a little bit further east than its forecast track here. So that is a bit troubling at the moment. And this is the Euro. The Euro has been further on the western envelope than all the other models leading up to the storm. And as you can see, look what it does. It brings it further east in line with the other models. This is the fear that many forecasters and meteorologists had with this system, the eastern bias here. All the models that had the western bias, the system has the ability, since it's strengthening so fast, to recurve a little bit faster, and I think that's what's happening here. So the Euro is even further east and puts New Orleans in that potential for the eastern eye wall. So I think this is really worth noting at this point. Taking a look at the HWRF model, this model has been the furthest west, and I do notice it has slightly moved to the east as well. It's still one of the more western models, this hurricane model HWRF, but you see that buzzsaw appearance making landfall in south central Louisiana here, and still some of those darker returns on the portions of the west side of New Orleans. So this is a concerning trend as well. And here is a roundup, a recap of all of the locations that we're going to see the landfall, the GFS, the NAM, the CMC Canadian. Here we go. We pretty much have a consensus of Southeastern Louisiana. The HWRF model's a bit further west. Euro is a bit further on board with the major models as well. So there you have it. It's the trend has been slowly east on the models. And taking a look at the peak surge forecast map here, we have quite a bit in the way of problems. We're going to have anywhere from like Morgan City all the way to the mouth of the Mississippi River. Anywhere from 10 to 15 feet plus, 7 to 11 feet plus on the southeast section, just east-southeast of New Orleans. Lake Pontchartrain, 4 to 7 feet plus, and even as far east over to the Mississippi-Alabama border as high as 4 to 7 feet. So this is nothing to mess around with. This is one of the big killers in these Category 4 plus style hurricanes, and it should be noted that this does not include freshwater flooding from the 15 to 20 inch plus rains that are going to be falling across the area as well. And here's the side of the storm a lot are not talking about, and I think it's worth a mention, is you can see the rainfall. This is my rainfall forecast here across parts of especially southeastern Louisiana, Mississippi. These are the two states that are really going to be impacted by this. You see a sharp cutoff here to the northwest, as usually happens with hurricanes. Most of the rain is on the east side of the storm, and this will be the case with Ida. You can see 18 to 24 inches in that blue zone. This is a lot of freshwater flooding, and at the same time we'll be dealing with storm surge moving inland as well. So this is going to pose a big problem, freshwater flooding inland. So any areas that don't see the surge, you will likely potentially see some freshwater flooding here. And the 12 to 18 inch amounts, they go further inland into Louisiana, parts of south central Mississippi. So this is a bit troubling as well. The system will be slowing down in forward speed as it rounds the subtropical ridge. And then the red zone is the 8 to 12 inch zone that goes further up into Mississippi, parts of southern Alabama as well. So this is not good news in a large swath of 4 to 8 inches. That is still a lot of rain, but southeastern Louisiana, this is where we're going to see the staggering rainfall amounts as this system really does slow down. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of Hurricane Easter, and I will keep you ahead of these hurricanes. Just continue to stay tuned, subscribe, hit the bell button. If you haven't already, comment or question down below, smash the like button. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Let's keep the data flowing here.